Hello and welcome to Pabbly. In this video, we are going to understand how to create an enroll user in Thinkific course for Instamojo Sale. So let's say that I have created a specific course in Thinkific, and here I want that every time a payment is made through Instamojo, which is a payment gateway for that particular course, then the moment this payment is made, then automatically the user who has made the payment should be first created as a user here and then should be enrolled in that specific course in Thinkific. To do that, we'll have to integrate Instamojo with Thinkific, and the same thing can be done using Pabbly Connect. So here my trigger application will be Instamojo and my action application will be Thinkific, which is a software platform that enables entrepreneurs to create, market, sell and deliver their own online courses. Now to understand how you can integrate and automate this entire process yourself without the need of any coding skills, let's begin. So this here is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect, and you can reach here by clicking on the link which is given in the video description. So if you are an existing user, simply sign in, and if you are the new user, then you will have to sign up. It's not going to take more than 2 minutes. Also, at the time of account creation, you will get 100 free tasks. Now once you reach the dashboard, on the right hand side there's a tab Create Workflow. Click on this and this dialog box has appeared, and here you have to name your workflow. Now you can give any random name. What is my objective? I want that every time there is a successful payment happen on Instamojo, then automatically the user who has just made the payment should be enrolled in a particular course in Thinkific. So I'm going to name it as Enroll User in Thinkific for Instamojo Sale. Let's click on Create. So here we can see we have reached another window. This window has got two extremely important events. One here is trigger and another one is action. Now triggers and actions are basically those two principles or concepts or the building blocks on which this entire automation works. Trigger is when this happens, action says do this. Basically action here is the automated response of your trigger application. Now as per our use case, our trigger application here will be Instamojo, which is a payment gateway. Then comes the trigger event. So the trigger event is the event that is going to make this workflow run, and here it will be new sale. Now here you can see we have received this webhook URL. This is going to act as a bridge for connecting Pabbly Connect and Instamojo. I'm going to copy this. Once done, now here we have to follow the following help text given. So I already have logged into my Instamojo account. So this here is my Instamojo account. This is the dashboard. Now here I'm going to take you to the different products that I have. So let's go to all products. So these are the various products. Now let's say that I want to set up this integration for this particular product, which is PHP for beginners. So I'm going to open this. Now here you can see this is a completely customizable page. So you can upload the file here, then your product image can be added here, product video, then the title. Here we have the description. Fixed price is ₹9. Then if you have any discounted price, you can add it here. Now as I take you down, so you have got all these options. And then here within advanced, you have got this webhook URL. So the URL that we have just received, I'm going to paste the same here. Let's click on save. And as we do that, here we can see that our webhook has been updated successfully. Now here you can see that we are supposed to do a test submission so that the data can be recorded here in the webhook response. Which means that now when I make a test payment, then I want to see whether the response is getting captured here in Pabbly Connect or no. So to do that, I'm going to take you to the payment page, and here I'm going to click on buy now. Let's say the first name here is student. Then the last name here is demo. Then the email address is demos@pabblytutes.com. Then here we have the mobile number, and now I'm going to click on review and pay. Make payment. So we can see that our order is getting processed, and here we have received the QR code. Now I'm supposed to make a payment. So here we can see that the transaction has been successful. So once this is done, taking you back to Pabbly Connect, you can see we have captured the webhook response here. So what is the status? It is credit. This here is the purpose. Then we have received the payment request ID, payment ID. Now as I take you down, here is the long URL. Then we have the currency. Then we have the buyer's details, phone number, name. Here is the email address and the amount. Now once we have received these details, what is my objective? Let me take you to the Thinkific account, and here I'm going to take you to the dashboard. So let's go to visit dashboard. So this here is the dashboard of Thinkific, and here I'm going to take you to manage learning products. Now within this we have got the courses. Let me show you the same. Here you can see I have got different products. PHP course for beginners is there. So let's say that every time the payment is made for this particular product on Instamojo, then the user who has made the payment should be enrolled in this particular course. Now to do this, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to check whether this user already exists in Thinkific. So here I'm going to use the application as Thinkific, and the action event here will be to search user. So I'm going to go down, and here is search user option. Let's click on connect. So here Pabbly Connect wants to connect with Thinkific account. Now since we are setting up this connection for the first time, here I'm going to select add new connection and connect with Thinkific. Now here we have to enter the subdomain. So how can we receive this subdomain? So going back to Thinkific, now here we have got settings. Now within settings we have code and analytics. Now within code and analytics we have got API. So here we can see this here is your subdomain. You can also see the same here in the address bar. So in front of thinkific.com and after http:/, you have the subdomain. I'm going to copy this, go back to Pabbly Connect, paste the same here, click on save to set up this connection. And as we do that, here we can see that the authorization has been successful, which means that Thinkific and Pabbly Connect are now connected. Now here we have to look for the user. So I'm going to search the user by email. We have got different options here like role, external source and group ID. So I have selected email. Now here I have to enter the value. So I'm going to click on this. And you can see the previous step. Let's click on this, and here I'm going to look for the email address, and this here is the email address. Now this method with which I have added the information here is known as mapping, and this is important so that every time your workflow runs in real time and you have received a new response, then that particular information should be taken into consideration. If I had written this information manually, then it would have become static, which means then it wouldn't have changed. So to avoid that, we map the information. Now here you have to enter the page number to use in pagination. So the default page value is 1. So I'm just going to leave this blank. Let's click on save and send test request. And as we do that, here we have received the response. This means that this particular user already exists in Thinkific. Let's go and check the same. So this here is my Thinkific account, and here I'm going to go to users. So these are my users. Let's click on this. And here we can see that yes, student demo, this particular user already exists. Now here let's see if the student has been enrolled to any particular course right now. The student was enrolled to PHP course for beginners, this particular course, but the enrollment has expired. Okay, now I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Connect. So what is my objective? Now I want to enroll this student to this particular course. But here we have got two options. Let's say that this student did not exist here in Thinkific. In that case, first we had to create a user and then we had to enroll. So here we have got two different routes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another action step, and here I'm going to use a feature by Pabbly, which is router. Now router step allows to execute different actions based on the filter conditions that we have set. So here I'm going to use two different routes. One where the user exists and another one where the user doesn't exist. So first of all, I'm going to rename this. So let's say here the user exists. Let's click on update. Now here I'm going to set filter and action steps. So here in the label, I'm going to click on this. Let's go to step 2, and here you can see we have received items ID. So I'm going to select this. Now if this exists, if this items ID exists, this means that the user is already there in Thinkific. Now I'm going to click on save and send test request. And here we can see that the condition is true. Why? Because the user is already there in Thinkific. Now that the user is already there, what will be my next action step? I'll directly have to enroll this user. So again, I'm going to use my action application as Thinkific. And the action event here will be to enroll user. Let's click on connect. And now we have already set up this connection. So I'm going to go ahead with the existing connection. Once the connection is all set, now here we have to select the course. So the course that we wish to go ahead with is PHP course for beginners. Then we need the user ID. So I'm going to turn this mapping button on, delete this. Now here let's go to step 2. This here is the ID. Okay, so once we have received this ID, then we need the activated date. So this activated date is the enrollment activation date. Now if you are not going to provide this, then this enrollment is considered to be a free trial. Similarly, we have to enter the expiry date. Now if you do not enter this, then your enrollment will not expire. So I'm just going to leave this blank as this is just a test case. Now if you wish to enter the dates, remember that this is the format in which you have to enter the date. Now I'm going to click on save and send test request. And as we do that, here we have received the response. So this here is the ID, then we have the created date and time, then here we have the user's email, user's name, user ID, course name, then we have the course ID. So we have got all these details. Now let's go and check if the user has been enrolled to this course. So I'm going to take you back to Thinkific, and here I'm going to refresh this page, and yes, we can see that the status has changed. This is active enrollment. So here my first route is successful. Now let's go to route 2, and I'm going to name it as user doesn't exist. Let's click on update, and here I'm going to go to step 1, which is filter by Pabbly, and here I'm going to select the label. So let's go to step 2. Now here we have received the pagination. So we can see meta pagination total items is equals to 0. So I'm going to select this. Now if this is equal to 0, which means the user doesn't exist, then this workflow should continue. So let's see what we receive as the response. Yes, we can see that the status is success, the message is condition is true. Now in this particular case, my first action step here will be, so I'm going to choose my application again as Thinkific. Let's click on this, and the action event here will be first to create the user. So I'm going to click on connect. I'm going to go ahead with the existing connection. And now here the first name. So I'm going to click on this, go to step 1, and here I'm going to look for the first name. Now here we can see we have received the complete name. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to add another action step here, and here I'm going to split the name with the help of this feature by Pabbly, which is text formatter. Let's click on this, and the action event here will be to split text. Let's click on connect. And now here we have to map the text to split. So let's click on this, go to step 1, and here I'm looking for the buyer's name. So what is the separator here? The separator has to be the space between different and user. So I'm going to select this, copy, and here I'm going to paste the same. Okay, so this here is the separator. Next we have the segment index. So I want the first name as well as the last name. So here I'm going to select all. Click on save and send test request. Here we have received the response, and we have the first name as well as the last name. Now I'm going to quickly refresh this connection by selecting the existing connection. And now let's map the first name. For this I'm going to go to step 2 here, and this here is the first name. Next, what do we need? The last name. So again let's go here, and this here is the last name. Okay, so this is done. Next we need the email address. Let's go to step 1, look for the email address here. This is the email address. Then we need the password. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you step 1, and here we can see we have received the payment ID. So I'm going to take this as a password, and in front I'm going to write PWD. You can create any password you wish to. Then we have to enter the roles. So you can add roles like affiliate, course admin, group analyst, site admin. Bio is there. Then we have the name of the company, headline, affiliate code, commission, commission type, payout email. Then we have other fields, and then here we have the phone number. So let's map the phone number, and this here is the phone number. Now these fields that we have just left blank, these are not the required fields. So if you have the information, you can always fill this in. I'm going to simply click on save and send test request. And as we do that, here we can see we have received the response. This here is the user ID. Then we have received the created date and time, first name, last name, full name, name of the company, email address, etc. Now, once we have received this, I'm going to add another action step, and this time I'm going to enroll this user to this course. So let's select the application, Thinkific, and the action event here will be this time to enroll user. Let's click on connect. Let's go ahead with the existing connection. And now as I take you down here, let's map the name of the course. Now user ID, so I'm going to turn this mapping button on, delete this, and here I'm going to go to this step 3 that we have just done. This here is the user ID. Then we need the activated date and expiry date. I'm going to leave this blank and click on save and send test request. And as we do that, here we have received the response. So let's go and check Thinkific. And here I'm going to go back to users. Let's click on this. And here we can see different user. This user has been added here. Let's check the enrollment. And here we can see that yes, the user has been enrolled. So this means that our integration is a complete success. Now let's check this integration in real time. So I'm going to take you back to Instamojo. And here again, let's view the same on store. I'm going to click on buy now. And here let's say the first name is Sue and the last name is new. And the email address is new@pabblytudes.com. Let me add a few numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's add the mobile number. Click on review and pay. Make payment. Now this particular user doesn't exist in Thinkific. So here I'm going to quickly make the payment. So once the payment is done, now I'm going to take you back to Thinkific. And here let's go back and we can see this particular user has already been added here. Let's click on this and see the enrollment. And yes, it has been enrolled to PHP course for beginners. So this means our integration is a complete success. Taking you back to Pabbly Connect, let's quickly understand what we have done. So here our trigger is Instamojo, which is a payment gateway. The event is new sale. Then our first action application was Thinkific, where we had to search for the user. And then we had used this feature by Pabbly router that allows you to execute different actions based on the filter conditions. So here we had two conditions. The user exists and the user doesn't exist. So here in the user exists condition, we had directly enrolled the user to the course. And when the user doesn't exist, first we had created the user and then enrolled. I hope this is absolutely clear to you. If in case you have any doubt, you can refer to the workflow which is given in the video description. You can also clone the same and start to process immediately. Apart from this, if you have any specific integration to work on, you can always write to us.
Not only this, but you can integrate multiple applications using Pabbly Connect software. To ask any of your query, you have to write at forum.pabbly.com. You can also visit our website, which is www.pabbly.com/connect. To get all the details about the latest updates, the integrations and applications, you can visit our Facebook group. If in case you have found this video helpful, then do not forget to share this with your friends and colleagues so that they can also get into automation and make their life easy. I'm going to see you very soon with different integrations and automations. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care of yourself.